I got to play Season 26 early thanks to EA and Respawn, so let's go over everything, including a new permanent mode that has wall running, a new set of items that's going to change the game, map updates to several maps, a new bat, weapon and heirloom, a new RE45 rework, ranked awards, and much more. So let's just get straight into it. This is one of the biggest seasons I've seen in a bit. So first, in Season 26, we're going to get a brand new permanent mode called Wildcard. From what I understand, Wildcard has a dedicated team at Respawn working on it, and it's basically going to be the Apex Battle Royale experience, but streamlined, simplified, and with way more action, because Respawn have completely reworked the core of the game for it, with looting, weapon, map, and combat reworks. And unlike Mixtape, this mode will be updated every season, and Respawn already have updates prepared for it. In Season 26, Wildcard is going to take place on a modified version of Kings Canyon. In this modified version of Kings Canyon, Respawn have added gravity jump pads, gravity cannons, and zip rails all over the map, as well as modifications to the map on a whole. They've added new bridges, a skull on Cage, new walls around the map, and also completely reworked lighting on Kings Canyon, making it feel like not just a map update, but Kings Canyon remastered. It looks beautiful. But this map update of Kings Canyon is going to be exclusive to Wildcard. You won't be able to play this in normal Battle Royale. In Wildcard, when you drop into the map, there are only 30 players in your match, and the starting ring already starts compressed, so you usually get a fight off drop. To make the combat interesting and to keep action constant throughout the match, Respawn have re-added self-revive kits into the game. In Wildcard, you will spawn with a self-revive kit, and once you use it, you'll have to pick up another one off a dead enemy to replenish it. There is also a new self-revive animation, so this is back, once again, only in Wildcard. And if you die in Wildcard, as long as you have one teammate alive, you will respawn after a set amount of time. So essentially, Wildcard has permanent revival mechanics, which work perfectly within its mode. The time you have to wait to be respawned does change every single round, and friendlies can make you respawn faster if they pick up Evo orbs, which I will touch on later. In Wildcard as well, Respawn have completely reworked loot and looting to make the game flow faster and to make everybody spend absolutely minimal time looting. Everybody's inventory is now simplified, so you don't have to really sort your inventory, and the only items you have to care about picking up are weapons and sights. Auto looting has been introduced to the game, so if you run over a stack of ammo and you need it, your character will pick it up. If you run over Evo orbs, your character will pick them up, and essentially if you run over anything your character needs, they will automatically pick them up, making looting super easy. When we went from playing Wildcard to normal Battle Royale, I missed the auto looting because it made the game so simple and so fun. When enemies die, they will explode into loads of items and will drop a death box, and death boxes only contain weapons and weapon scopes. In this mode, there are no backpacks or knockdowns. You already come equipped with a backpack that you can't take off, and there are no knockdowns in this mode. The only loot on the floor is ordnance like grenades and optics, so once you get your preferred weapon and scope, you can just fight for as long as you want. Whenever you knock enemies in this mode, they will drop Evo orbs, which are very important, as Evo orbs have several functions and will carry you throughout the match and encourage you to take fights. Evo orbs will level up your weapons, as you don't pick up attachments like stocks and mags, you just have to level up your weapon by picking up Evo orbs. And Evo orbs will grant shield charge, ult charge, and health regen, while also reducing respawn timers for your teammates so you can get them back into action quicker, and your character will auto pick up Evo orbs. So these are very important as they upgrade your gun, get your abilities faster, and heal you. They won't upgrade your shields because everyone throughout the whole game has blue shields, and legend upgrades are disabled in this mode. For loot, weapons and scopes will be found in normal loot pills in this mode, and these loot pills will upgrade every single round to have better loot, and apparently there's a 1% chance these will contain mythic items. The shining star of this mode though are wildcards. Wildcards are a new type of item that have been introduced that act as legend upgrades, and they add things like wall running and cool little passive abilities to your character, so let's go over them. Now, admittedly, in the playtest, these were not active, so I have no gameplay, but I did ask a developer what wildcards there are. Firstly, wildcards can be crafted at replicators around the map throughout the game, and in every single round of the game, you will get a new wildcard slot, so you can equip several wildcards. Once you equip a wildcard, it will become binded to you, so you can't unequip it, and these are very powerful, and Respawn will keep adding them as wildcard goes on. So wildcard is like a mode for experimentation. The first wildcard we were told about was wall running, so you will be able to craft a wall running wildcard and gain the ability to wall run in Apex, which was long requested, so I can't wait to test this one. There's also going to be a wildcard that recharges your shields whenever you sprint, which is going to be massively handy. There's going to be a wildcard that increases melee damage, so you might actually be able to have a viable build where you just go about punching people. Respawn are also introducing a wildcard that reveals enemy locations when you knock one of their teammates, so it will just scan them. And those are the only ones I was told about, so to find out the rest, we're just going to have to play the new season when it comes out, but I'm massively excited for these. And once again, wildcard and wildcard replicators are only available in wildcard. One of the best things about this mode though is that Respawn have enabled legend stacking, which means you can have 3 of the same legend on one team. And we had an absolutely crazy game in the playtest where we were 3 stacking Mirage, which definitely confused our enemies, and the whole match we were fighting this team of 3 Caustics. We literally had gang warfare, Mirage gang versus Caustic gang, and guess what, Mirage gang actually won. So there's going to be plenty of potential for crazy, weird and annoying plays when you 3 stack the same legend. I can already see a team of 3 Conduits or maybe a team of 3 Revenants activating their ult. This is going to add a whole new aspect to Apex, and I can't wait to see what people do with it. You may be asking then, are there trackers and badges specifically for this mode? Well, kind of. From what I know right now, there is only one badge for this mode, and it tracks your wins in Wildcard. I don't believe there are any trackers for Wildcard. But in the playtest, I did get damage badges for doing high damage games in Wildcard, so it seems damage and maybe even kill badges may be enabled, making them way easier because this mode has a revivals mechanic. I'm not sure if this will be in the game when the season releases, we'll have to see. Also, when you start up Wildcard, you may notice every single legend has a new select animation exclusive to Wildcard, which is pretty cool as well. Also, during Season 26, there's going to be a new event where there's going to be a Bat Heirloom up for grabs. And much like how when the Power Sword Heirloom released, it had a weapon counterpart in the game, when the Bat Heirloom releases, there is going to be a Bat weapon counterpart in Wildcard. We didn't get to use the Bat weapon, but we got to use the Bat Heirloom. And this thing is going to be insane for one reason. Respawn told us the Bat weapon is going to have a charge attack where you can absolutely punt and knock back enemies. So you'll be able to charge your attack, hit an enemy, and throw them 30 meters away, which is going to be absolutely insane. And you may be wondering, when I went up against that 3 stack of Caustics, did they have their rework? And yes, they did. So let's go onto all of the legends and class buffs, because Controller finally got a buff. I'm sure many of you are celebrating. And it comes just in time too, because one of the Controller legends is getting a very big buff. It's Caustic. It's obviously Caustic. He is finally getting a mini rework. Respawn are calling it a refresh. Respawn have done 2 things to empower him. His gas is now more deadly, and he has a brand new passive. Caustic is now an anti-movement legend, because as well as damaging, his gas now grounds enemies, which means if you're getting pushed by an Ashe and she's dashing around, it will ground her. Same with Sparrow, and same with any enemy that's going to be jumping over your head. I must admit, his gas feels very oppressive to be in, and you can have 6 canisters in the world at once. Some more changes to his gas. Caustic's health bar will now not show up in his gas, and also his gas traps and grenade have indicators. Additionally, Caustics can now be damaged in other Caustic's gas, so nobody is immune to your gas anymore. The only person who's immune is you, which also means as Caustic you take other enemy gas damage. His new passive is called Research, and it's pretty interesting how this works and makes Caustic more powerful as the game goes on, as his new passive allows him to get all 4 of his upgrades at once. And by the way, he got new upgrades. For his blue upgrades, he has extra traps, which gives him 1 extra attack charge and 2 extra max traps in the world, and also Breathe It in, where you regen HP when in gas. And for his purple upgrades, you can either pick Particle Diffuser, which gives him plus 50% ult gas area of effect, or Gas Fighter, which recharges his attack 300% faster when inside his gas. And here's the best part, you can have all 4 upgrades at once with the new passive, as research can be gained throughout the match by damaging enemies with your gas, scanning ring consoles, or searching death boxes. And there are 2 tiers of research. The first tier of research will give you the blue upgrade you did not pick, and then your second research tier will give you the purple upgrade you didn't pick, allowing you to have all 4 upgrades at once. So essentially his new passive just encourages use of his tactical to give you better power in the game. And I will recommend this because when I had all 4 upgrades at once, I was super powerful, especially when in my gas. So Caustic is going to be a machine, but he's going to be a machine you have to really watch out for in the end game when he's going to have max research and all 4 upgrades. Also in this season, Bangalore got a refresh, which I wasn't expecting. She now has all new upgrades and she has a completely different use in the game. She can either be a support legend or an anti-placeable legend, so she's made to destroy Watson fences, caustic barrels and rampart walls. The left side of her upgrades now make her an anti-deployable legend, giving her electrified smoke at the blue tier, which will deal damage to deployables like Caustic's gas tanks, and also the electric rocket barrage, which does the same thing and also adds 10 extra damage to your rocket barrage. Or you can choose the right side of her upgrades, which focus her on becoming a support legend, where she can massively support her allies with her smoke. Although you do have to note, these upgrades on the right of Bangalore's upgrade tree do focus more on healing your teammates than you, so you really want to use this if you want to support a good team. Caustic and Bangalore are 2 smoke legends, are getting pretty decent reworks this season, and Bangalore has now become a Watson and Caustic counter, which is going to play really interesting. But do bear in mind, her electric smoke only electrifies deployables, not enemies. You can't do extra damage to your enemies with your smoke, but you can with your electrified ultimate. By the way, it's going to be really annoying next season when Bangalore's and Caustic have put smoke absolutely everywhere. So, Respawn have taken some tips away from Counter-Strike 2 to improve the smoke in the game. Now, if you throw a grenade at gas or smoke and the grenade explodes in the gas or smoke, it will temporarily dissipate the smoke or gas. So, you can temporarily get rid of Caustic gas with a grenade, or temporarily get rid of Bangalore smoke with a grenade, which is going to be insane. And if you're stuck in Caustic gas with your friends, you can sacrifice yourself by throwing a grenade at your feet. Seriously, this is pretty cool, and it's going to address the fact that loads of people are going to hop on Caustic and Bangalore with this update, so do be aware that this is now a possibility. And for classes, Controller has received a buff. Now, whenever you use a ring console as a controller legend, an extra tool, Evac Tower, will spawn. So if you ever need to get out of an area in a pinch of your team, just pop a ring console. This is going to be interesting because it's not optional. Every time you use a ring console, it will deploy a tower. So this can be used to expose your location as well as aid you. You do have to be quite intelligent with how you use these. But overall, I think this is going to be a positive change. Now, these changes may seem big, but they're not the biggest changes in the season, because we're getting a whole new type of item, which is replacing helmets, and these items give you unique passives and unique buffs that change the game, including unlimited ammo and unlimited batteries, and these are amps. Amps are lootable perks that will be enabled in ranked and unranked. And as I mentioned prior, amps will be taking the place of your helmet, so helmets will no longer exist in Apex, including the red helmet, because there's an amp that replaces the red helmet. Here are all of the amps. They're going to be really hard to choose between because you can only carry one. We have the infinite ammo amp, which is going to cost 2 inventory slots and give you completely infinite ammo. No catch, you will just have infinite ammo. This has the opportunity to free up loads of inventory slots for you and also let you play how you want. And the fact that it only takes up 2 inventory slots to give you infinite ammo for as long as you have it is quite insane. But it might not rival this one. bottomless bats. With this amp, you never have to worry about batteries again, as when you have this amp and 2 batteries in your inventory, your bat supply becomes bottomless, so you can use as many as you want. You can literally get hit for 1 damage and heal with a bat, because you simply will not lose a bat from your inventory, which is also pretty insane. This is going to be very sought after next to the infinite ammo amp. May I remind you again, once again, this is in ranked and unranked. There's also going to be an over armor amp, which will give you 25 extra shield. This is pretty much replacing the red helmet, as this applies to every single shield level. So you can go from having 3 cells of white shield to 5 cells of purple shield. This one is definitely going to be really good, and I do not believe it stacks with the controller passive, so don't try to do that. There's going to be an amp called Power Booster, which reduces ability charge times and gets charge back on knocks. So if you really rely on your abilities, or you just want to have a team comp where you have your abilities more often, this is going to be the move. I don't think this is going to compare as much to the infinite ammo ones, but it may still find a place. There's an amp called Overflow Healer, where shield cells and syringes heal over time. So if you have literally 1 health and use 1 syringe and 1 cell, you will fully heal after a set amount of time. So some people may enjoy this depending on their playstyle. And right now, those are all of the amps, but because of the nature of amps, Respawn could easily take some away or add new ones. It's going to be really interesting to see how they experiment in the game with amps. And amps are pretty rare, and you're not going to be able to have a choice between all of the amps in one game. You're just going to have to kind of roll with what you get. So there is a level of look to amps, but these are going to be really interesting, and the fact that they've replaced helmets is going to change up the floor loot of the game a lot. I'm definitely excited to see how these change the game though, and I think they're going to have a positive impact. Also, the floor loot is not going to be super oversaturated now, as Respawn have removed many items from the floor loot in the new update, including hop-ups. Hop-ups no longer spawn or exist on the floor, so let's go over the gameplay changes, because in Battle Royale, the weapons have kind of received a mini overhaul to how hop-ups work, and it's going to change how you look at weapons in the game. Now, many weapons in the game are going to be coming with locked hop-ups. For example, the R301 has a shield generator locked hop-up, the Wingman has a skull piercer locked hop-up, and the Spitfire has a paintball locked hop-up. And these hop-ups are binded to the gun, they can't be taken off or moved, and they're locked because they can be unlocked, as whenever you use a weapon with a locked hop-up and deal enough damage, it will unlock the hop-up, and the hop-up will just function. Meaning now all weapons come with hop-ups, which takes the RNG out of it and require actual use to access the hop-ups, which is great. Now there's no guessing game or no gambling where you pick up a gun and go, oh, I really want this hop-up, I guess I'm just going to risk taking this gun and hope I get the hop-up. And this also gives weapons a guaranteed unique mechanic. For example, the Spitfire and Eve 8 are getting a new hop-up called Elite Paintballs, which increase the damage and the stats of the gun when the hop-up is unlocked, which is great. And it really doesn't take too much damage to unlock the hop-up. You kind of just have to do one fight and then you get it. And while I show which weapons have hop-ups and what they have, I'm just going to say this is a great change to Apex in the long run. This clears up the floor loot and guarantees the performance of some weapons and makes a lot more weapons a lot more viable. Also, this gives Respawn the ability to buff weapons in ways other than damage values. If a weapon's underperforming, Respawn can just give it a hop-up that meshes perfectly with it. For example, right now, if the R301's a bit too strong, Respawn can take the gun shield generator off and just leave the damage values as is to allow more skilled players to flourish with the R301. And you may be asking, what happens if you die with one of these weapons? Well, the Respawn downgrades the points but keeps some of the progress. So if you die, you will still keep some of your hop-up progress, and you should be able to get the hop-up instantly or with a tiny bit of damage, which is going to be super awesome. This is a great overall change, and some weapons have received buffs and reworks as well, including a weapon that I don't think anybody was expecting to go into the care package, so let's go over that. First of all, the RE45 has had a hell of a rework. It's now been reintroduced to the game under the name of an elite weapon. You may notice in the RE45 gameplay, it does have a pattern behind it which signifies it is an elite weapon, which means this RE45 rework, as it stands, isn't permanent, or at least currently they are not. Elite weapons are weapons that are removed from the game and replaced with a version from Ballistic's private arsenal. They are buffed or reworked in various ways. This is signified by this Hopup icon and the elite weapon tag. The goal with this system is to revitalize and reimagine guns. So even guns that don't really need a rework can be taken out of the game for a period of time and be replaced with an elite version which functions completely different. But honestly, the elite RE45 is awesome. It's basically a mini devotion nemesis in your pocket and it hits like a train. Firstly, the RE45 is now an energy weapon. Also, it requires some time to charge up to shoot, so you have to hold down your attack button. The charge time is pretty short, but you do definitely have to prime the gun. It won't start shooting immediately. When it shoots in massive bursts, which do a lot of damage, and for being a pistol, the recoil really isn't too bad. I would say focus on getting magazine upgrades for this, because it does run through the ammo really quick. But other than that, it hits like a train. I use this against bots, against dummies, and against players, and in all situations it felt great, and I definitely would pick this over the RE99. You just kind of have to master pre-charging the weapon. This is a great little rework, and the idea of elite weapons is really interesting because it allows Respawn to drastically spice up the meta whenever they want to, and they can also just temporarily rework guns whenever they want to as well, which is a really interesting concept. I can't wait to see how this goes. It is a bit disappointing that the RE45 buff is temporary, but that may change in the future. Just give Respawn the feedback when you can. That is not the only weapon change. Now the Peacekeeper is back to the floor. It's out of the care package and it's been replaced by the P20s. Yes, the P20s are now a care package weapon and they have the kinetic feeder and 22 ammo. And if you're not aware, Respawn usually put the kinetic feeder on shotguns, but now it's on the P20 and reloads the gun every time you slide. And the longer you slide, the more it reloads. This set of P2020s feel tight and really fun to use, although I'm not sure what the community is going to react like when they realize that the P20s are just going to be powerful again. And Respawn did announce in an AMA last week that care package weapons are going to be in the care package for 2 seasons, so this won't be out until season 28. The Mozambique has now seen a buff. It now has a faster fire rate and a tighter blast pattern. I couldn't really feel it in game, but then again, I don't use the Mozam too much, so it might come back into meta. Just give them a try. Class supply bins, like support supply bins and assault supply bins, are now more consistent to their class, no matter who opens them. So if a Lifeline opens an assault bin, she will get assault related items, and if a Bangalore opens a support bin, she will get support related items. This is a good change to clear up the item pool a bit, and also make it clearer what these bins are for, and give them a bit more value when you aren't playing the specified class. The LMGs have seen a bit of a nerf, probably because of the devotion meta, but now LMG hipfire does spread a bit more. Although in season 26, the Spitfire does have the paintball hop-up, which is going to make it a beast, so definitely make sure to check that out. Those are the main weapon changes, although there are going to be smaller weapon nerfs and buffs we'll see in the patch notes. I'll make a video about them, so just subscribe. On to the map changes for this season though, because believe it or not, there are several mini map updates, which is going to make the season feel super fresh, because there have been 4 map updates. Now obviously one of the map updates is the Wildcard version of Kings Canyon. This is only available in Wildcard, so it doesn't matter to most people. But one of the biggest map updates this season is on E-District. Respawn recognized that it's a polarizing map and have decided to shift the time of day and also shift the clutter around the map, making it more readable. It's received lots of small reworks. There have been changes to the Lotus Hotel. There have been changes to shop interiors, so now they all have linking doorways. Some buildings have been removed, and overall Respawn have just cleared up the map. But that's not the biggest change, because it's now daytime on E-District, and I don't think the pictures and videos do it justice. This looks like a completely different map, and it kind of makes you realize that Respawn developed and made the assets for E-District in an environment that wasn't nighttime, and then they just had to put them into a nighttime map, so the map couldn't really shine in the way the developers intended. But daytime makes it look completely different, and despite being a neon city, it looks way better in the daytime. It feels slightly tropical, and the map just looks so different, and the lighting is so fresh. I loved it, and I used to hate E-District. Respawn have also changed the skybox for E-District and literally said it's now inspired by Angel City from Titanfall, and truly, I can see what they mean. There's the Angel City statue in the background, and also the cityscape is so similar to Angel City, it's kind of insane. Overall, the map literally probably looks about 5 times better in my opinion, and just feels a lot more readable. It doesn't feel like you're fighting in a dark room, it feels like you're fighting in a beautiful tropical city. Before you immediately hate on this map change, just give it a try. Believe it or not though, there are still 2 other maps that were updated. Respawn have recognized that some of the maps in Apex have become a bit stale because of the lighting and wanted to switch it up a bit, so now Stormpoint has had new lighting. Now, unfortunately, in the playtest, we did not get to play Stormpoint, but there were a few user interface icons that shows the new lighting, and it does look super crisp, and it's probably going to be on the level of Kings Canyon, where it just got a beautiful little refresh, so I'm really excited to check out Stormpoint. Also, Kings Canyon got a lighting refresh, which definitely should bring it into more of a modern age and make it less of an eyesore. And trust me, the lighting changes changed so much, it's kind of insane. And also, over on Kings Canyon, they did change the color coding on a few things around the map, like the color of stairs and bridges to make the map a bit more readable, and this did extend into the firing range. Now the firing range looks a lot more fresh, it has new lighting, and also some of the assets are a different color, like these stairs here are now orange. And of course, because you probably want to see these maps, the map rotation for Season 26 is District, Moon, and Stormpoint. You won't be able to see base Kings Canyon, non-wildcard Kings Canyon for a bit, you'll have to wait until mid-season or Season 27. Also in this season, you may be happy to hear that Respawn have taken another shot at progression, and there are now new ways to show your progression, and kind of like mini achievements that give you an XP boost in game, and a new way to receive rewards. First, for challenges, Respawn have made some changes to make them a bit more achievable in all modes, but the biggest new update in Season 26 is Accolades, a new way to recognize and reward gameplay. They're like little achievements you can see on your screen. Throughout this video, you may have actually seen me earning some accolades. They are essentially seasonal achievements, as accolades completely reset every single season. Accolades are small challenges akin to achievements like say thank you to a teammate, or get a kill over 100 meters, or get a kill while in the air. And they all have unique badges, and they can all be viewed in the progression menus in Apex as well. There's unique accolades for BR, Wildcard, Mixtape, and you can see how many times you've earned these accolades. These are not badges. If you earn them, you can't display them as badges. The closest you can get to that is seeing them on the end screen, as earned accolades will show on the match summary. And by the way, don't worry if you find these notifications of earned accolades really annoying, as the notifications can be turned off. So what do these do? These give you bonus XP after the game ends, and just give you a load of challenges you can set yourself, as you can be like, okay, I'm going to complete all BR accolades, or I'm going to grind accolades to get extra XP. These are a small progression addition, but the noise they make when you earn them and just the visuals do make it quite satisfying when you do complete accolades, even unintentionally. So basically, it's just Apex's own form of achievements that reset every season. Another change in progression is the new earned item reward screen, as whenever you earn a badge or a battle pass item or a reward item, when you go into the lobby, this animation will play showing your character and your skin and a care package coming down revealing all the items you've received. I played quite a few games back to back, so I received a ton of items like damage badges, wildcard badges, and progression rewards. This is going to make the progressing in the game a bit easier and a bit more readable. As you may be aware right now, if you level up or get a new item, sometimes you have to restart the game or play a game for that item to show up. So it's kind of Respawn making progression feel a bit more rewarding and a bit more clear. It's no longer super disjointed. And in my opinion, accolades are really cool, and they're going to be cool to introduce players to things you should do in the game, but they should give more rewards apart from XP. It would be nice for every maybe 20 new accolades earned, you get a pack or something. It doesn't have to be major, but just another reason to grind them. I think this next set of changes though are the biggest set of changes being introduced this season, and these changes are to ranked and matchmaking, as ranked grinders should rejoice, and anybody who doesn't play ranked should also rejoice, because more free rewards are here, and this free reward is pretty crazy. So first, let's start with the matchmaking changes. Respawn said in Split 2 of Season 26, you will now have an option to re-queue with random teammates, so you can stick to a team that you'll work well with, which is going to be great, and you can do this off the requeue screen so you don't have to go back to the lobby, as sometimes if you find a good teammate and you ask them to come back to the lobby, they just don't want to do it, so this will give the opportunity for solo players to stick with good teammates. This requeue feature will work for solo players and also 2-stack players playing in trios. Also, Respawn said matchmaking changes are still being made for solo queue, which is once again good news because the solo experience always needs improvement. And honestly, in my opinion, Wildcard is the perfect solo experience, but let's move on to the ranked changes, because Respawn have kind of made the changes everybody's been asking for. Respawn have updated RP tuning, giving us new rewards and gameplay changes. First though, the new rewards. We are getting a new type of reward called ranked auras. Much like Deathbox skins, when you apply an aura to your character, it applies to all of your characters, and everybody will always have an aura, as auras will reflect your current rank in the game. These are totally optional, you can turn them on and off, and when you see them you may be like, this is going to make me a bullet magnet, but actually you can only see them in specific cases of gameplay because of how big it is. Ranked auras don't show up in normal gameplay, but whenever you skydive, your ranked aura shows up. Whenever you emote, your ranked aura shows up. Whenever you do a finisher, your ranked aura shows up. And whenever you revive, your ranked aura shows up. And I believe enemies can't see your ranked aura when you're reviving. Also, ranked auras will show up in the lobby and also the select screen. Basically, Respawn wanted to add a way to show your rank and add a bit of flair to your character without also dragging you down. And this seems like a system they're happy with and will encourage players to actually play and fight. Also, for ranked, Respawn have added an entry cost for bronze, so bronze games will start off in negative RP, and also Respawn have added small entry cost increases to gold and plat. Also, Respawn have increased RP gains from the challenger bonus, which means killing higher ranked opponents will give you more RP. So if matchmaking's putting you against higher ranked players, you do get a bonus from taking them out. Respawn have also made some adjustments to ranked on a whole and reduced the amount of RP you get from kills and assists, because they want to encourage the skill it takes to get placement rather than just a lot of kills. The biggest change though is that the big dropship has been removed from ranked, and now everybody's going to start like they do in their ALGS. At the start of the game, a random POI will be selected for you and your team, and you will drop over the point of interest in a goblin dropship and then skydive out directly onto that point of interest. So every team has their own point of interest and everybody lands at the exact same time. This is the same system they use in higher level Apex, and I'm interested to see how this plays out. And Respawn have tried to balance this by removing hot zones so there won't be better loot in random areas of the map, and they've also changed ring console and survey beacon locations. So the maps and the loot have seen some changes to accommodate this new system coming into the game. I think this change was a long time coming, and it's going to be interesting to see how the community reacts, and I think Respawn have tried to make it as fair as possible, and this might make ranked games just that bit more fair. Also, in ranked, Respawn have made an unexpected change. Heat shields are now turned off, so heat shields will no longer be in ranked. I assume they wanted to make this change for a long time, but they were probably waiting to implement the dropship system into ranked. I'm definitely interested to see what happens with ranked now, and if people like the dropship change, because this is going to be controversial. I know some people are going to love it, but some people are also going to hate it because they don't get to drop where they want. We'll have to see how this one pans out. Also, you've definitely seen it throughout this whole video. Respawn are adding a new universal heirloom, which is a bat. It's going to come with 4 variants, and here are all of the variants. It has some pretty cool specs, and the inside is powered by an energy drink. And I feel like this is definitely inspired by Octane's heirloom from Apex Mobile, as when Octane got his heirloom on Apex Mobile back in the day, it was a bat and people absolutely loved it. Also, the bat has some Easter eggs. It has this inspect where you look at the bottom of the bat, and on the variants it either says R5 or 2019, which symbolise Apex's release date, 2019, and also Apex's codename at Respawn, which is R5, because it's the 5th Respawn game. This will be coming in an event with other skins, and one of the skins in this bat event, I think, is going to be this Loba skin, which, from what I heard during the playtest, was a very popular skin. People really liked it, and for some reason, people kept finishing me when they were using this skin. I really don't know why. But regardless, this skin is coming. There's also a Bangalore skin coming, and I'll cover more of the skins in a future video when I go over the Battle Pass, because the Battle Pass is awesome. It has a beautiful altar skin and an interesting reactive skin, but I will cover that later. I just want this video to be the major changes, which we have plenty of. So subscribe to see more changes, and also subscribe. This video took me so long, man, but I want to do more like this.